Okay, so with this insane spring sale in full effect on the Switch eShop, we're here with part 3 of our favourite deals out there. Part 1, that was our initial favourites under $10. Yesterday we tried to return to our regularly scheduled programming, our weekly episode, but we still could not fit them into one episode. So yeah, welcome to part 2. To celebrate some of these crazy good deals though, we're lightening the burden on that wallet of yours and giving away 2 $25 eShop gift cards, one on today's video and there was one on yesterday's, so maybe, check that one out too. All you need to do though is comment below with a game suggestion or tell us about something you picked up, how's it going, are you enjoying it, what do you like, what do you dislike. We'll announce the 2 winners in next week's episode though, so hit that subscribe button to be notified the second that video drops. Also, just join our family. If you love the Switch as much as we do, we should have you covered here. With that, let's get started. Now before we get started, as always, check out the prices below to see if it's on sale in your region, and like yesterday's video, I'm getting the heavy hitters out the way first. I want to focus this on more, unknowns, so let's just quickly fire through these. Metro 2033 and Last Light, masterpiece games. If you want a more story heavy focus and horror vibe, I'd say go with the first game. If you're looking for a more traditional shooter, Last Light's your best bet. Next up, Darksiders 1 and 2, both again great games and somewhat similar to a 3D Zelda, so if you like hack and slash combined with a lengthy campaign, then these are no doubt a good place to look. The last big obvious one, Red Faction Remastered Edition, stupid name but a surprisingly fun open world sandbox game where nearly everything here can be destroyed. It's not smart, but it has some fun systems and it's surprisingly challenging, I gotta say. Okay, so with the obvious ones done, let's go more obscure. First up at a crazy low price in Fizzy Gun Reloaded, a weird little stealth puzzle action game. It's a massive 95% discount for a game that I feel is a bit of a sleeper hit. It's going to be hard for you to find really a bad word against this one. The idea is simple, you're invisible, you can only be seen when you shoot your gun. That means things like navigating the traps, the environments and enemies. Yeah, it's a lot more difficult than you may think when you can't see yourself on screen, but it's just such an interesting concept. With an amazing multiplayer experience that's seriously exciting and a pretty comprehensive single player that I'd say feels a bit more like a puzzle game, I can't recommend this one enough. It's a badass little game and the discount is quite honestly insane. Next up, God Eater 3 at 50% off. I've raved about this game a lot on the channel and I'm sticking with my feelings towards it. I think it's better than Monster Hunter Generations on the Switch. This one, it's best summed up literally as a Monster Hunter clone with anime visuals, and it's addictive as any other hunter game out there. Yes, there's a single player campaign story, but where this one really shines, it's the repetition of slaying a monster, or Origami as they're known here, grabbing that loot, and then just simply repeating. The beauty of it all though, you get to use huge weapons, melee, guns and shields, and it just holds its own against the big dogs out there. The best feature that comes exclusively to the Switch version though, it has local co-op, so you can go hunting together in the same household, not just online where it's actually up to 8 players. Just buy it now. Okay, so I just mentioned beasts by the name of Origami, so now let's talk about a game called Origami. For all you ninjas out there, if you're looking for stealth action, this might just be a great place for you to play. With a 50% discount, it's a decent drop for a game that gets a whole lot right. Playing as a ninja though by the name of, well, obviously Origami, you're out to save a girl by the name of Yumiko. Captured by an evil army, you'll be working your way through 13 chapters and making your own decisions on how you approach each, scenario. And that to me is what makes a good stealth game. Do you kill everyone or do you go entirely unseen? This game, it sets up the location, it places the enemies in your way, but then it leaves the rest up to you, where experimentation will likely be your key to success. It's got the occasional issue, I'll say that honestly, but nothing huge, and I had a great time with this one when I finally took the risk a few months back. I just wish I'd waited for this sale now. Okay, so let's slow things down a bit right now. Kona coming in with 70% off. One game that hooked me was Firewatch, and I'm always looking for something that may be a little bit similar. I only actually picked this one up a few days back myself, but when I saw the screenshots and it looked like a snowy version of Firewatch, I took a gamble and I gotta say I was really impressed. With a 6 or so hour runtime, it hooked me nearly immediately, and I actually beat it in 2 sittings. Here you're taking on the role of Detective Cole Falbert. You're investigating a snowy little town in Canada in the 70s, and it's really combining walking simulator with mystery and then a tiny bit of survival, though I will say the survival elements, they're a little bit weak. Overall though, honestly, the storyline was fantastic, the systems, the investigations I really enjoyed, and also it's just a great looking game on the Switch. I was really impressed with like just the graphical style of this, and if an eerie, slow burner is more your style, I'd suggest pretty strongly that you go to Kona. So Cosmic Star Heroine is a JRPG that for me got a whole lot right. This one started life as a Kickstarter project, raising $130,000, and was relatively well received by the community. It's very much for those out there who appreciate a good classic SNES RPG, you know, Chrono Trigger especially. That was clearly a huge influence on this one. Just look at the battle system, it's all actually real-time fighting that traditional random battle system so many use. This one, you know, the story's nothing groundbreaking, but it's sure entertaining. It's a tale of espionage, evil organizations, robots, aliens. Then to go along with the gameplay, it's got just good old pixel art graphics, a huge and seriously impressive soundtrack, and yeah, it's just some 16-bit goodness, honestly. The only thing that might catch people off guard, it's a little bit shorter than what I would say a traditional JRPG normally is. This one's clocking in around the 10 or so hour mark. Fortunately though, I gotta say it's a great 10 hours, and with 80% off, it's even better. I actually have this one physical myself, and I strongly suggest JRPG fans out there give it some serious consideration and love. It's absolutely worth the price. So The Tourist, it made my top indie games list of 2019, and rightly so. This amazing little adventure title is best summed up as being just extremely unique, with a visual style that perfectly matches the game's personality. Now, starting simple, you're just heading out on your vacation, you know, just to enjoy some sunshine, but things like 99% of games escalate extremely quickly. Expect to grab your camera though and be discovering hidden monuments, tackling side quests, discovering alien life, and even just enjoy the perks of being on holiday, you know, take a quick trip to the arcade to tackle the latest cab, or surf. Surfing, that was my favourite. The Tourist, I've just got to say, it just has this incredibly fun storyline. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but they've put such a strong focus on really strong mechanics. What I liked about this one the most though, it's very easy to just kind of like get lost in its world and meet just the locals who live here. For one of the best indie experiences on the Switch right now, 30% off, it's not bad at all. So next up, Dark Devotion. It's another roguelike, so my warning first off, it's challenging as hell, and you can expect to be restarting this one a whole lot. And by restarting, I of course mean dying. Playing as a Templar, you're putting your faith to the test as you dive into the darkest of fallen temples. For me, this one, it hits generally all the right marks, a solid combat system, a decent little storyline, and yeah, it's got the trademark pixel art again, but I really do like them. It's definitely Dark Souls-like, and I know that gets said a lot, but I mean, just look at it. Dark Devotion, I gotta say, for a roguelike, it changes just enough to really stand out in what is becoming a very cramped genre right now. Alright, let's get weird. Alternate Jake Hunter, Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz. This one was a gamble I took when it first released, and I gotta be honest, I rarely hear anyone mention this game. I've never been the biggest fan of visual novels, but what I do enjoy is a visual novel that incorporates something else to the mix of things for the gameplay. So, you know, think like Phoenix Wright or the incredible AI The Somnian Files. Well, this one, it's a great example of just that. Here you're taking on the role of a young detective investigating the murder of your grandfather, and as per the name, it's part of the Jake Hunter series for anyone out there who's actually played them. I think they were from like the DS days. What makes this one so unique though, it features a 360-degree camera. So let's say you're interrogating someone at a scene, then you can move away, you can rotate round, look for clues before coming back to that individual. It's a really unique style, but it really does work very well, and it makes everything feel a bit more lifelike because it's obviously surrounding you. Now I will say, of course, though, expect a ton of talking here, but the story, it just gripped me from start to finish. The visuals may put some off, I will say they're super unique, but for those visual novel fans out there looking for something a little bit more adult where you've got to flex those brain muscles, this one, it might be a good one to look into. Now it is one of the more expensive games on today's list by far, but it is also one of the most unique. It's also dropping with a discount, making a huge difference. I will warn you though, because of the high price tag, it took me about 10 hours to get through this, and that may be a little short for some of you. So continuing the visual novel fight before I jump into my absolute number one pick today, The Red Strings Club, a game that's both visually stunning while capturing an atmosphere that very few games, manage. Extremely short at 5 hours, I'll start with that, but what it lacks in length it more than makes up for in storytelling. This incredible tale is extremely adult, taking place at a bar in a cyberpunk future where androids and implants, they're all the rage. Here you're a bartender by day, information broker by night, and the idea is relatively simple. You talk to the patrons visiting the bar. What you need to do is get information out of them. Now how do you do this? You mix drinks to stimulate a certain emotional response, and that leads to them giving you the information you need. This one, it's so unique, so beautiful, and so recommended by me at 50% off. Even if you're not a visual novel fan, if you like anything sci-fi or cyberpunk-ish, I would strongly urge you just to go and take a look, see what you think. Maybe pull out that credit card. So last up, my big choice of the video. Someone mentioned it actually on our last video, and we have to agree. Everspace Stellar Edition. It's another pricier one, but if ever there was a great way to spend some cash with a huge experience attached to it, this is it. With 35% off though, you can easily clock in near the 100-hour mark with this one. And this space adventure, it's just an incredibly fun time with a repetitive loop that's just going to keep you coming back. This one, it's best summed up as being part resource management, part arcade space shooter, all then attached to a big chunk of roguelike elements where you should expect, obviously challenge, but yeah, you're gonna die a lot. Earn credits though, buy new ships, buy upgrades, buy new weapons, just get addicted. It even has a decent story to back it all up too, but I will say story shouldn't be your first reason for playing this one. It's a great port of an incredibly demanding game, and sci-fi fans, this is about as good as it gets on the Switch in my opinion. I just wish we could get Elite Dangerous now, but I don't think the Switch could quite cope with that one sadly. And that's our final list for the week. We went a little overboard this time, but next week we'll be back to our usual, one sale video a week. This week though, you can still of course expect to see 3 different reviews dropping for some great titles that are about to come to the Switch. We've also put out 6 reviews in the last 2 weeks, so maybe head over to the channel to check them out as well. Thanks to everyone new to SwitchCorner though, the growth over the last few weeks has been absolutely amazing, and we appreciate every single one of you. We've got a great little community right now, and just seeing it grow, we're so proud of that. So yeah, comment below, get entered into our $25 giveaway for an eShop gift card, check out our video from yesterday and enter to win another $25 there, leave the video a like if it helped you out, and then of course hit subscribe to see our upcoming videos, including the announcement of who's winning these gift cards. Yeah, I'll see you all on the next video.